Thanks, Addison. I know you were born in Washington State. Can you share a bit about your family roots there and how many Mariner games you might have gone to as a young kid?
Yeah, so originally from the Seattle area. Most of my family's from Everett, so about 45 minutes north. But I was a diehard Mariners fan growing up. Went to a few games. I don't think I went to a ton, but I mean, when we moved to Florida, I was watching the Mariners every single night, like my whole childhood.
Other questions for Addison? Yes, third row on your right. We'll get you the microphone.
Addison, you've had obviously a wild year starting in AAA and getting super hot here and learning what it's like cooling off here and having 3 hits against the Yankees. How have you just kept your focus and kept going, grinding day after day through all the ups and downs you've had personally in the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's a grind. A full season in the big leagues is, like you said, there's a lot of ups and downs, like a roller coaster ride. But I think just trying to stay focused on the work I have and kind of preparing the right way with my hitting coaches, with all the coaches, and just staying competitive and going out and competing. If I don't feel good, some days you're not. You just got to go out and compete to the best of your ability. That's pretty much how I've done it.
Second row on your left, Addison.
Addison, you had a ton of success this year against the Mariners, 7 for 20, slugging 700. What is it about facing these guys that you've really been able to harness and have success against?
I mean, I think I just match up probably well against some of their arms. That's probably what my success has come from. That's pretty much it. I mean, and just getting hot at the right time, feeling good some days. But that's probably the biggest thing. I probably just match up. They have a lot of right-handed starting pitching. So that's probably mainly what it is.
And you weren't here in 2022 when this team went through a pretty tough collapse against the Mariners in the playoffs. A lot of your current teammates were. Have they talked to you at all about that or what they're feeling, kind of if they're looking for redemption, so to speak, coming into this series?
No, I haven't heard anything about it. I mean, I know what happened, but no, I don't think anybody's really talking about it. I think we're just focused on going out and competing and, winning the series.
Other questions? Yeah, the third row on your left, Addison.
Can you just talk about the atmosphere? John talked about playoff atmosphere and how it's different, how it's changing. You've been here at various points of the season. What's it like for people who are at home who can't be inside the stadium?
Yeah, I mean, it's insane here. I mean, obviously we have a lot of passionate fans and a ton of fans, and they're loud. We can feel them every pitch. Regular season, it's more like up and down, like crowd gets loud, big play, whatever, but it's pretty consistently, energetic. I would say that's the biggest difference. It's just like nonstop, all 9 innings, every pitch, lots of energy.
Last row on your left, Addison.
Hey, Addison. In Seattle, back in May, it felt like that was a turning point for the team in the season. I know you'd only been up for a little bit, but it felt like you really got your opportunity there and sort of came into your own. What do you remember about those 3 games?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was about the time I started to play a little bit more. I'd just been not really playing a lot. I've been up like maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks and not really playing. So I had a lot of time to kind of dial in my swing and focus on some things that I needed to work on with Pop, our hitting coach. So we've been grinding, and I felt like I was in a good spot to go out and compete, and that's pretty much the biggest thing I remember.
Do you feel like that kind of launched your season that weekend?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, in a way, for sure.
One row ahead, John.
Addison, can you describe the impact that George Springer has had on you as a teammate, maybe the best advice that he's given you to this point?
Yeah, I mean, he's given me a lot of advice. I think the biggest thing he kind of tells the younger guys and me is just kind of how to take care of your body for the full season, because I kind of go all day, every day, pretty hard, take a lot of swings, a lot of throws, very intentful. So he'll step in and give me some advice like, hey, just don't hit BP today, or you got to be ready for October and those kind of things. That's his biggest thing, is just like kind of managing your workload throughout the season, because it's obviously a long year and it's not easy to just take a break every now and then. You just want to go. So that's kind of the biggest piece of advice he has.
And just lastly, one more thing on the Mariner connection. Have you ever had a chance to meet Ichiro before?
I have vaguely, just like a little bit, but nothing, not really, But he was my favorite player growing up, obviously. I've said it lots of times.
Fourth row on your right, Addison.
Part of the Jays' success this year is being able to reduce the number of strikeouts at the plate. With the success that Vlad had in the divisional series, there might be some pitching around. Can you talk about your approach if they do pitch around Vlad and go to you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, depending on the situation, I'm going to be aggressive on the pitch I want to hit, and take your chances. Hitting's hard, so you just kind of got to hunt a pitch and take a chance. That's the biggest thing.
Go to the fourth row on your left, Addison.
Addy, is there something that Pop and the hitting staff clicked with you this season? Everybody seems to have a little something when I ask them. What was it for you?
Yeah, I think it was. I've been working on some, very specific things the last couple years that were kind of, I don't want to say like against my natural movements, but that they were harder for me to do. And his big thing was just kind of going back to being myself and kind of swinging how I used to swing in a way. So it was just really simple in that way. Like he allowed more space to be yourself in your swing and in your movement. And that was really helpful for me.
Other questions for Addison? Yes.
John just told us that Trey's going to start game 2. Obviously, you've seen what he's done so far in this brief time, particularly in the DS. Just how excited are you to see the next start from Trey?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I think we all are. I mean, he's pretty special. Like, to be able to do what he did in the regular season and in the division series is, it's not something that's it's kind of unrealistic. But he's been able to do it. And it's been amazing to watch, and we're super excited to have him.
I want to start off by saying something. It's been living in this world where there's so many different opinions and feelings, which results in a lot of hate. It's sad to see that people close to me are being attacked for my performances on the field. These people have done nothing to warrant negativity for my actions. Whether that's my parents, my brothers, my girlfriend, family, it's just really sad. And I know I have the platform to address it, so I am, and I hope that people can realize that those individuals have nothing to do with what happens on the field or whatnot. And if you have a problem, I'm a man. I can take whatever opinions anybody has about me or my life, and yeah, so I just wanted to get that out there.
All right, thanks, Trey, and behind you 100%. Who has the first question for Trey? We'll start in the second row on your right. We'll get you the microphone.
Trey, do you mind if I ask a follow-up question to your opening statement, or would you like to move on?
We can move on.
All right. Obviously, you're going to be the Game 2 starter for the Blue Jays. How does that feel as a vote of confidence? Obviously, you did great against the Yankees, but how does that feel as a vote of confidence from your manager that he's sticking with what's working?
It's a great feeling, being able to go out there and go out there and play for this team is special. The clubhouse is rallied behind me, and I have all the confidence in the world.
Go to the fifth row on the left, Trey. Ben?
Hey, Trey. We learned yesterday from John Schneider that you walking out to the bullpen at Yankee Stadium was a bit of a decoy. Just wondering if you could share your kind of experience of that and what went into that day for you.
I was told that you guys were going to find out that I was available that day, but I truly wasn't. It's just a decoy. And then I was told to walk out there on the field in the fourth inning, which I did. But I thought it was funny just learning how this playoff baseball is kind of crazy, and there's a bunch of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that the average fan would have nothing or have no idea about. I thought it was really cool.
What was it like in the bullpen knowing that you weren't going to pitch?
I would say it was a little bit more stressful than being in the dugout, just because guys in the bullpen were flying around, getting hot every inning. I never heard a phone that loud in my life, the one that rings down there. So it was a little different than what I'm used to, but it was a cool experience.
Go one row behind to Mike.
So Trey, what was that walk like, and what were you hearing and seeing at Yankee Stadium?
When I was walking down there, I was trying not to smile. I was trying to act locked in. But I mean, no one really said anything. When I got to the bullpen, I heard some people, like, I don't even know what they were saying, but they were just like chattering and yelling some random stuff. But I mean, it wasn't crazy.
And just as far as all this is concerned, you've been here a month, not even. Are you getting used to this yet? Is this are you able to step back and say, okay, this is what's going on, or is this all still wild for you?
It's still pretty wild. I never thought I would be here in this situation this year, so every day is something new, and I'm very blessed to be learning this in such a young career.
One row ahead to John.
Trey, when you think about the journey of your season, going from multiple minor league stops to here, certainly a lot of coaches, coordinators, different people in the organization had their handprints on your success and your progress. Can you share maybe some of the most impactful people and how they helped along your journey during the course of the season?
Yeah, so I started my year off in low A, and I didn't know how professional baseball worked, so the pitching coach there, Corey, and the manager, Gil, they were great in allowing me to kind of figure out how this works from the start. And then along the way, every pitching coach had an amazing mentality, knew how to help me where I needed help, but not like reshape who I am as a pitcher. And all the support staff, as in strength coaches, nutritionists, trainers, I mean, across this entire organization, they're all phenomenal. And I give everybody in this organization a lot of credit.
And just one follow-up, when you were a kid at home watching postseason baseball, who were your favorite players? Who were the teams that you were drawn to? Was there one World Series or one ALCS that really made a big impact on your heart in terms of dreaming about being here right now?
I grew up a Phillies fan, but when they won the World Series, I was 5 years old, so I don't really remember too much about it. But I also grew up a big football fan, so in October there was a lot of football on in the house, and I can't really pick one certain playoff team or run or whatever, but yeah, I mean, this is my favorite one so far.
We'll go to Jake before we move to our right. Jake, go ahead.
So when you made your, low A debut this year in Jupiter, Florida, this was not on your radar at all. Between that day and last week at Yankee Stadium, was there a moment when you started to realize this could happen to you? Was there a start, an outing, a turning point, a conversation where this felt like a real possibility?
Yeah, when they put me into the pen in Double A, I knew the reason for that was to potentially come up here and throw out of the bullpen for the big league team. So that really showed me that this team has a lot of belief in me, and they just want to test it out, and I'm a real option.
Fourth row on your right, Trey.
Other than getting in your steps, walking to the bullpen in Game 4, what have you done to stay on schedule with so many days off?
I've been doing my normal throwing. I was able to mix in a few more off days from throwing as well, just with the difference in schedule and the way our off days have lined up. It's been really beneficial to get a lot of rest. But I mean, I've attempted to try to keep the same throwing schedule, lifting schedule, everything the same. So I think I've done a pretty good job at that.
We see Bassett and Scherzer back on the roster. Can you talk about what those two and Kevin and Jose, veterans, have meant to you and advice they've given you?
I mean, every single one of them has talk to me in their own way, and everyone has different messages. And they've really made this outlook on playoff baseball a lot smaller than what it is from the outside. I mean, it's still just baseball. It's still a game, and I got to go out there and treat it as such. There shouldn't be more pressure, or you shouldn't be freaking out about who's in the box or whatever it is. And it's great to have those guys in this clubhouse.
One row ahead, Trey.
Trey, a follow-up to your journey response. I have Casey Candel's version. What is your version of the moment he told you you had 3 options and you were getting called up?
So I for some reason I had a feeling I was getting called up that day, and I walked into the clubhouse and I see him arranging chairs in the manager's office. I'm like, they're about to call me in there. And sure enough, they asked me to come in there, and I kind of had a intuition that what was going to happen. But Casey sat me down, and option number 1 was, this one is a little blurry in my head, but it was like, go back to Buffalo and just wait there and see what happens with the big league team. Option number 2 was shut down and go down to Florida, and option number 3 was go back to Buffalo and then drive up to Toronto that night and join the squad here before the trip to Tampa. And obviously I picked option number 3.
Do 2 last ones, third row on your left.
Trey, last weekend was electric. I saw you also pitch on the second last day of the regular season. That was electric. What was your feeling after the game 2, and what are you anticipating for tomorrow here at Rogers Center?
Game 2, I mean, you couldn't have drawn it up much better. I mean, being able to go out there and the performance from the pitching staff and the offense, and just being able to go out there and win and go up 2-0 in the series, it's an electric feeling, and you can feel it out there. But heading into tomorrow, I'm looking to not put, like I was saying earlier, not put too much pressure on myself. Just go out there and be who I am and be the pitcher I have always been, and trust my defense, trust my catchers, trust my offense.
Finish up with Shy, 2 rows behind the last.
Hey, Trey. Especially when you have a bigger gap between outings, is one of your pitches more finicky than the others in terms of keeping them sharp? And what goes into maintaining the best movement, best location with your fastball, split, and the slider?
They're all pretty much the same. I'll always throw pretty much every single pitch every single day, unless it's after a heavy day where I just want to get the fastball and give my forearm a break. So I do put in that work with pretty much every single pitch, just about every single day.
And in terms of feel, which is the one that if you've got that set, the other ones work better?
Definitely the heater. If that's in the zone, I know I can throw the breaking stuff off that and have them be effective.
Hey, John.
Hey.
Just seeing that Max and Chris are on your roster, just wondering if you could sort of outline how you expect to use them.
However we see fit, really. They kind of know that. Probably Chris out of the pen, and Max if we need it. Kind of want him to be somewhat available for Game 4, and but he knows how to do the postseason. If we need him today or tomorrow, if things happen like they did back in Seattle, he'll be ready to go too.
So both Chris and Max could be available today, and if things were to go certain directions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We'll go to Jamie right behind.
John, did Bo re-aggravate his injury running yesterday?
No, and didn't set himself back, which is a good thing. I think, if anything, kind of just showed him and us that there's still a little bit of uncertainty there, and didn't want to put him in a compromised position. I feel for him because it's been a long 3 weeks physically and mentally. He wants nothing more to be out there. But he's going to keep himself ready and trying to get ready. Hopefully we advance, and hopefully he can kind of check off the boxes that we need him to check off.
So right up until that scenario that we saw yesterday, was he a deep consideration for a
Oh,
spot
yeah.
on this roster?
Yeah, definitely. I think we were kind of heading down, a tough decision, where it's going to be tough no matter what. I think that just kind of put a little bit of clarity in a not good way to it.
Go to Mike, the row behind.
Hey, John.
What's up, Mike?
Bassett takes Nance's spot, it looks like. Is he going to be deployed in a similar way, or do you have ideas about how you might want to use him out of the bullpen?
It could be similar, yeah, for sure, in certain spots of the lineup. But I think looking at, a difference between the 5-game series and a 7-game series, kind of how useful can he be, So, again, you're always planning for everything to kind of fall into place. And if everything falls into place, it's probably a limited role. But if things do not fall into place, you want to have some flexibility with a guy that we obviously trust. We still think Chris is a damn good pitcher. It was kind of matter of opponent and circumstance for the last series. So it could be anything, really.
And just, this is one of the dumber questions that I've ever asked you, but
Love it.
I want to hear it from you. What is it that makes Trey the right choice to pitch tomorrow?
You've been here. I think, pitching here, I think watching how unique his stuff can be, especially against teams that haven't seen him. And his demeanor has been really damn good. So it was a pretty easy choice just by watching how he's conducted himself and watching what he's doing on the mound.
We'll stay right there with David.
Hey, John, on Trey, he opened up his presser just now addressing online hate towards his family. Just wonder if he spoke to you about that and if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, he didn't. I give him a ton of credit, for a guy that is 22 and just arrived in the big leagues and understands that he has a really, really good support system that is around him and has a platform to talk about it. It kind of just adds to him and his maturity level, I think. There wasn't a lot of hate there. It's just kind of saying, this is new for him, obviously, but I think him kind of protecting people that are close to him. So I commend him for saying that, and it's unfortunate that that's a reality. I think the more that you do it, the more accustomed you get to it. So I commend him for saying what he said and for backing up the people that love and support him.
Third row on your left, Tyler.
John, Seattle's a pitching staff that really loves to pound the zone. They're very open about how aggressive they are, and you guys put the ball in play a lot. How does that kind of match up work? Maybe in your favor, maybe not. Like, how does that dynamic impact the Blue Jays?
I think we're aware of it, obviously, and I think that I don't want us to try to do anything that we're not good at, for one. So certain situations are going to call for contact. Certain situations are going to call for hopefully some slug or damage, So I think that we have a unique 1 through 13 that can do a little bit of everything. So it's being ready to hit. It's understanding kind of what their tendencies are and staying convicted to what our approach is, really. So it's a tough pitching staff, for a variety of different reasons. But I think we've kind of shown over the course of the year that we can do some different things. We can score in different ways. So these guys are real good at understanding the situation and kind of adapting accordingly.
The second row up front, John.
Hey, John.
Hey.
When Trey was in here, he was talking about how he was a bit of a decoy in New York. I was wondering how much do you enjoy that sort of managerial gamesmanship?
I mean, not a lot. I think if the situation was a little bit different based on his performance in Game 2, playoffs is a little bit different, obviously. I don't know if it affected anything that New York was going to do, but and you never know really where the game was going to head, Kev was probably more of a viable option than Trey if that game got to a certain point, but players have to go execute. You know what I mean? I'm a big believer in that. I like to do simple things right, So that was a little bit of taking into account what he had done in Game 2 and adding a little bit of theater to it all.
The fourth row on your right, John.
We understand Bo's not in. If he was in, there was a possibility of him DHing. With him out, you've got George, you've got Tony. Both can play the outfield, both can DH. What goes into the decision who plays where?
It depends on the day, really depends on a lot of different things. Who's on the mound for us, who's on the mound for them, how we like to kind of run our roster, in terms of swapping out defense for offense. And it kind of changes every day. They're both aware of that. It's, there's going to be times where George is in the outfield this series, I'm sure. But it kind of it changes every day, and they kind of know how we run it.
We'll stay in the same row.
Hi, John. Do your thoughts or approach on facing Cal change this year, maybe as opposed to 3 years ago when he was batting 200? Now he's 380 in the last series.
Well, for one, that was me as a young interim manager saying what I said to try to fire up my team, which I obviously shouldn't have said. I think that you have to understand the kind of season that he's had, and you have to be aware where he is at all times. I've got a ton of respect for him as a player and where he's taken his game to, both at the plate and behind the plate, to do it as well as he's done it and to catch as many games as he catches. So, again, man, I know where you're going with that, and I know kind of the things that were said back and forth, and I don't want that to be a narrative in this series at all. I think he's a phenomenal player, and we're definitely going to be aware where he is in the lineup.
2 rows behind. The last question.
Hi, John. You've rightly spoken about the Jays being Canada's team and having support coast to coast. What's your message to fans in British Columbia who might have a soft spot for the Mariners?
I don't know. I think that fans in British Columbia, I hope, are Blue Jay fans before they're Seattle fans. I think we feel that. I think we feel that when we do travel there too. So I guess my message is try to get some tickets and meet us out there.
A couple last quick ones. John on your left.
Hi, John.
Hey.
When you look at Springer's success this year, it seems like a lot of it can be traced back to the role that he's had. He's talked about how his body feels great this time of year because of the DH days. Was that part of the original plan in spring training, or did that evolve a bit over time?
Yeah, that was part of the original plan for sure. Just kind of monitoring the number of games he played. And then when he started off the way he did offensively, it was tough to take him out of the lineup. So I remember going back to when we signed him, talking about when you get to this part of the contract, there's going to be some more DH days built in. It was hard to do that for him the last couple of years based on where we were in the standings, based on who else we had on the roster. But I think I think the DH spot has really helped him physically, for one, but I think it's allowed him to stay really present with what he's trying to do offensively. It's not going out to right field or left field or center field and grinding on your last at bat, being able to kind of leave it behind if it was bad or build off of it if it was good. So we definitely wanted to monitor it, and he's kind of really fallen into a real liking for it.